new communicative systems that come through with the elements. It is, or it may be, an important alignment for you to do so, because it's part of your origin, and everything that is part of your origin will definitely propel you forward. And it's actually the only thing that matters, is moving forward, but being in joy and absolutely 0% allowing anything of the muddy streets into you. That requires strength, it requires perseverance, it requires especially knowledge. And so today I really would like to talk about the knowledge that is needed. As in my former video I talked about the communication with the animal kingdom, because if we want to move in ascension, today is moving into alchemy actually. So the old worlds are fading away, the old words are fading away, and is being replaced by massive downloads of photonic light in multiple dimensions. And so where your true vibration starts off and starts rising endlessly is truly in the spiritual ethereal embodiment. So light body has taken a new route, a very fast one, that enables us to communicate with other planetary systems, that enables us to communicate with galaxies into the omni-beyond, and also bring through a lot faster refinements in the body. And that is quite fun to do. The refinement, as we know, there's too much synthetics still flowing through, people feeding themselves with synthetics, let alone, you know, the lower food industry coming from the animal kingdoms that lowers the body in an instant. So moving vegan is an option, and still from there on, a vegan diet in light body requires quite some refinement, because there's a lot of foods, people moving in alignment with their authenticity, that they require a different intake of food, lighter food all of the time, and lesser protein. So loads of potassium, zinc is a necessary component, but then again, downloading your own elements, communicating with the elements is the most important thing in the incoming age, so you know what you need and you never overload the body. And many people overload the body due to lack of knowledge actually. And when you overload, you feel bad, you feel bloated, even, you know, if you juice through all day and having not the right combination. So then drinking a lot of water, as this planet is a water planet. And thus, reason why so much communication is coming up with the elements and the animal kingdom. So reconnecting with the elements, such as the flowers, the herbs, the trees, and talking to the seas, and actually aligning to all the oceans we have on the planet, then there's a lot that we can change, shift in such a short amount of time, because we are shifting our DNA from the human cellular construction back into the DNA of a living light wave. That's the origin, changing cells into particles, into light waves. That is where your life becomes very interesting, because you feel those waves moving through all of the time, deleting anything that is lesser than these high altitude waves. And so it becomes a very, very practical connection in the body. So let's say the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Oceans, the Antarctic, the Indian Ocean, They all have different consciousness to connect with. When we align to a particular ocean, we can download our own information about it, what it will do to the body, what it will purify, what the necessities are to reconnect, and especially also when it comes to the water component, it is essential to communicate what kind of water elements you need, like seaweeds, certain coral kingdom that are very beneficial to wear, and to assist the regrowth of the coral kingdom, to assist the animals within the oceans to find their original contact back in, because we killed the oceans massively, and many species are dying off due to the lack of food, due to humans still eating their food actually. And so as long as that doesn't stop, we will have to private ourselves from rising into the highest level of authenticity. And of course, those who align all of the time to the elements, talk to them, they can incorporate and become as light as a feather. So it's no longer light body, it is moving into light, L-I-T-E, light. And that is a new movement that will open up and release any trauma, any atrocity, anything you may have suffered, any especially stuck pattern in the brain, and those stuck patterns in the body that brings stuck patterns in society, and that brings stuckness into actually everything. Rising above that is, you know, reconnecting and communicating with the oceans can be trained. It can be trained to become a communicator with the waters, and having yourself being led by the inhabitants of the water. And that is just one thing. Another very important component is the air. You know, the air that we breathe is changing every day. And so if you live in a very polluted environment, even there it is possible to open up the living light grids that truly override all that dense air over there. And so your energy field could expand like many miles in circumference, and allow the earth connected breathing system through birth, through soul, to be deleted, eliminated, being replaced by the breath into your source, the breath into living light, the breath into the omnibion components. And essentially, I think the next level would be the cosmic breath, in which you become, you know, you expand many miles. And so quite obviously with those components and communicating with the living light component within air, you can actually repair everything. And that goes far beyond the old modems in healing, because it moves very fast. Anybody moving immediately from soul into spirit consciousness can change overnight. And it may take like a 7-day transition, which I'm offering right now. And also an online if you want to, but at least you can transition yourself and you get upgrades, monthly upgrades like never before. It is a necessity as the axis position is ascending, and so we will find that we have a sort of accelerant in purifying the planet, so many people can move into it. Medication will no longer do its job due to the ascent of the earth actually, and so the organism will no longer accept but rather reject medication. And so a lot in that industry will happen, like clinging on or trusting anything that is not in the creation of living light in crystalline grids, yet in the matrix. then those people will get disappointed, because there is no such thing as that you will be saved by any divine source of force. We need to do the work ourselves, and because we've been giving all opportunities to do so, it's a matter of aligning directly to your sources and forces, that those cords, all these connections have been cut down to your spirit, your source, your spark. Knowing that, we can open up massive communication ley lines, and opening up new messaging systems from new galaxies. And that is where life becomes truly interesting, because there's many advanced creations actually that will reconnect with us and team up in order to move faster, because I mean, it will not get better. It will get better if you remain in alignment, a light body, in ascension, and getting the daily, weekly, monthly alignments through, and proving it that you can rise beyond the dumbing of soul consciousness that was created by the matrix. And so the air component and the earth component will work massively together, as many elements will rise from the earth's surface, not known to scientists and physicians, but we can communicate with them and bring them to the human kingdom in order for us to live vibration faster than medication can ever catch up with. And that is going to be a very important feat, especially as well for young physicians. They will be very open to that, as they want to bring true truth in embodiment, and thus watching how the earth changes, moves with the element air, with changes in topography, changes in geology, changes actually in our own geology, so to speak, because it is part of the earth. And as long as your feet are not interconnected and feel the wheels, the waves of the divine moving through the feet, the legs, the hips, the entire body becomes a vortex of living light, then everything within is closed off, and that comes to the old chakra. So the leading that, moving into a pure pillar of light that reconnects throughout all the first 12 dimensions, then you have a lot of assistance, support continuously without fail, because it's all available. So communicating with the elements is the new alignment coming through. The new features in transmuting the body into the correct axis, what people term transcendental meditation. Most of the time I didn't see those people change over the ladder of 10 years. So transcendental means actually you transcend cells into living light particles, and then you become light waves in a human body. And then when you can continuously change the body from one space into another space, termed by location, then you have mastered your entire construction. And that comes through the communication, the assistance, the cooperation, the co-creation with all the elements. So for example, if you're interested in the element air, you would investigate, co-create, and incorporate in the first place the air within certain regions of the planet, communicate what it can do, how it brings changes, etc., etc. The same goes for the rivers, the lakes, the oceans. And so water air, and then the etherical component makes you feel very, very light. So the next movement into becoming a spiritual etherical body, we need to know what a light body has in its composition, and we need to learn to work with it, having the knowledge, opening up skills upon skills upon skills, because that is essentially what makes your life very interesting, and reason why many people know they need to reconnect with the elements and breathe them through. So when the breathing system is off, when the lungs are off, when your heart circulation is off, when the arteries are off, there is work to do, and it can be done very quickly, because pure air doesn't enter a muddy body. So that needs to get out, because every body has, you know, many synthetics in the body, and which at a certain point we could not avoid, but today we can rebuild nutrients on a high level that are not affected by how the soil has been affected. So we can repair the soil, we can repair the composition of water, we can repair our own composition with it. So if you don't do the work in purifying, helping, assisting that process in the ecosystem, biodiversity, the animal kingdom, then we actually start killing ourselves. And that is what's happening right now. The divine will not allow it, and reason why the quickening of change will come true, because the best of expansion you can have is with a crystalline grid that is spaced within all the elements, and then you have sub-elements. A crystalline grid for an ocean, a crystalline grid for a lake, and then you open that up and you become one with it, changing and shifting consciousness back into the origin. And that is how we ascend very quickly, actually. So it is a choice to make, to move into self-mastery, getting to know your organism, being interested to educate your children, to educate teens, to educate the hood and everybody. So if you're interested, I will be here in the 7-day retreat in Ontario, but I also have the online course moving, in which you get one upgrade beyond the other, especially moving into living light consciousness, and that is all that matters truly.